Hello everyone and welcome to KTH. My name is Jairam, and on behalf of everyone here at KTH, I would like to warmly congratulate you on being accepted to our master's program. KTH is Sweden's oldest technical university, and today we are filming from a beautiful library. It's one of my favorite buildings here on the main campus, and in a few months it'll be your turn to be here. So let's get started by welcoming our first guest, who happens to be our Vice President for Global Relations. Welcome, Stefan.
Thank you, Jairam.
So could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate all the newly admitted students.
Of course,
yeah. As I normally say, KTH's most important persons or people are the students, and I'm looking forward to meet you in the fall and see you at the different lectures as well. Well, my background is actually KTH. I'm a KTH alumni from electrical engineering. I started almost 40 years ago, and sometimes you never leave a university, and I'm still at KTH. I'm a professor of electric power engineering. I'm focusing on electric railway traction and electric transportation. That is, of course, today a very hot topic regarding sustainability.
Yeah. Could you tell a bit about your role as a vice president for Global?
Trying to arrange partnerships with universities around the world, making possible with collaborative research, arranging for student exchange, possibility to do master thesis abroad, and joint programs, joint degrees, etc.
Yeah. And does this benefit even the international students who come to KTH?
I think it does very much. Our international students will feel that this is a truly international environment, and that they will be able to benefit from it. For instance, having an exchange or having a master thesis abroad somewhere, or actually later on joining KTH or another university for research as well.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So KTH has been mainly conducting the online form of teaching since the pandemic began a year ago. I'm just curious, how has that transition been, and what can the students who are going to join us in autumn, what can they expect?
Well, as most universities have this year, we have been more or less fully online. I think we have, 90% of what we have done is online. Yeah. I think we've been excellent in arranging lecturing possibilities and exams online. It's been a tough but acceptable year for all people at KTH. Yeah. However, I think we are somewhat tired now in looking at the screen, seeing the students as stamps. Yeah. We would like to meet the students and discuss with them and explain more in detail, discuss during the breaks. And the plans for KTH are not set yet, but we hope and we will work for, if not a full return to campus. So I hope most of what we do in teaching this fall will be on campus.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thanks, Stefan. So the students who are watching this have just received their selection results. I'm just curious, do you remember when you received your selection results many years ago?
I do, because it was a little bit special. At that time, it was in the middle of the summer, and I got a letter from my parents. The amazing part was that I was actually in the military service at that time. Okay. Was out in the forest and having exercises. Okay. And you were happy to get a letter. And the letter was admission letter for KTH, which was, of course, fantastic. Yeah. Made my day at that time.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have made many of our viewers' day as well.
Yeah.
Finally, I just want to ask you, what would be your tips for the students who are watching before they move to Sweden and KTH?
It's a pandemic year, so it's difficult to tell what can happen. But if possible, I would really suggest that the students arrive as early as the pandemic allows. Yeah. Because Stockholm in August is a very, very beautiful place to be. It's a fantastic environment, and you get time to learn how to move around. You know, learn the public transportation system. You know where to go, where my apartment, where is it in relation to KTH. I think that is number one. Yeah. Number two is to really take part in the activities KTH arranged for new admitted students, because that will very quickly help you to learn about KTH, but also to meet new friends that you can join, especially during the first weeks of the semester.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, Stefan.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. So throughout the years, KTH has had many high-profile visitors. And here in the picture on the left, you see former US President Barack Obama here in this very library to learn about KTH's research in sustainable innovations. KTH is also consistently ranked among the top 100 universities worldwide, with top 30 rankings in various subject areas. We are also proud to be ranked within the top 100 when it comes to the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings related to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Sweden also ranks third in the world in the Global Innovation Index. I know there was a lot of numbers, but luckily once you hear from our next two guests, you'll understand why KTH is ranked so high in the areas of sustainability and innovation. So welcome, Erica, Don, and Donnie. So let's start off with you, Erica, Don. Could you briefly give us an introduction about yourself and your work at KTH?
Sure. My name is Erica Dawn Egan. I am a sustainability strategist at KTH Sustainability Office. Our office helps integrate sustainability into our core business of education, research, and collaboration. We also drive and manage our environmental management system, which is certified according to the ISO 14001 standard. I remember about 22 years ago that I was in the same situation as the students that we're talking to today were in, where I made the decision to move to Sweden and continue my education. It was very exciting, a little bit scary, but I'm very, very glad I made that leap. I have a lot to be thankful for here in Sweden, not only being able to pursue a career in sustainability, but also having a great family and life here in Sweden.
Yeah, and I hope the students who see this also get to spend that much time in Sweden like you did. Could you tell us a bit about sustainability in Sweden in general?
Absolutely. I think Sweden is much more than ABBA, Spotify, and meatballs. You're never far away from nature. It's always right around the corner. I think a lot of people living here feel a deep connection to the seascapes, the archipelago, and the wilderness around us. They also feel a duty to kind of be stewards of that environment. What people might not know is that Sweden is a pioneer within environment and sustainability. Already in 1967, Sweden was the first country that actually started with an Environmental Protection Act. A couple of years later, in 1972, we were the host for the first UN conference on global environment. We're now going to be celebrating 50 years after that was held here in Stockholm. So these students are going to have the opportunity to be involved in events circulating, again, around Stockholm's plus 50.
Yeah. That's an impressive history, but would you say Sweden is completely sustainable?
No, I can't say that Sweden is completely sustainable. Through legislation, through the development of technology and knowledge, we are moving forward, but there's a lot more to be done, and we do that by collaborating both nationally and internationally. KTH has 6 main objectives within sustainability and climate, which were recently decided by the President. We're not only looking at our core business of education, research, and collaboration, we're also looking at our daily operations, how we're organized, the processes that we have within our organization, how we effectively manage our resources, and also how we can reduce our environmental and climate impacts so that we are actively contributing to a climate-neutral society.
Sure. And what would you say are the immediate priorities for KTH?
We have a few. The climate is definitely one of them, but I think KTH's sustainability manager, Kristina von Oelreich, she says it best, that ultimately it comes down to leadership, our employees, and our students, and the decisions we're making every day. We do have to make hard and tough decisions. It has to do with how we travel. Stefan was mentioning that you can use public transit to get to KTH. You can bike, you can walk. It also has to do with the choices we make when we're purchasing, the things we buy, the things we're consuming. We also need to think about how we are integrating and what we're integrating into our education and our research. It takes initiative and it's going to take courage, but I do know that the people around here are willing to contribute.
Yeah, thanks. I think you mentioned some of the tips that students can do during their life at KTH to be more sustainable. Do you have any other tips that you would like to add?
Absolutely. I think the conditions here in Stockholm are perfect for upholding a sustainable lifestyle. Again, you can get to our campuses very easily by foot and using other sustainable modes of transit. There are secondhand stores here where you can plan your clothing purchases and how you furnish your homes. You were mentioning earlier today that your trying to furnish your home, and you can use
exactly.
secondhand. I think also that you can, here on campus, you can make sustainable and healthy food choices on campus. And at the grocery stores, most of them will have locally produced and organic. But more importantly, you have a choice here at KTH in the courses that you pursue, in the projects that you pursue, to integrate sustainability into those, so that you are gaining the skills and the knowledge you need to use them in your future career.
Yep.
It's also about being a sustainability practitioner every day and in your career.
Yeah, and so finally, I just want to round off by asking, like, so what would be your tips for students to engage in more sustainable activities, maybe in activities with your office, for example?
Absolutely. At our office, we have opportunities where we enlist the help of students to be internal environmental auditors of our management system, which is a great opportunity, and I do think you should keep your eyes open for that. We do have projects where we, for example, in this library, we have integrated recycling, and that was students who helped us with that. In the upcoming year, we're going to be looking on food and food services, but more importantly, there are past and present students here that have developed networks and organizations in sustainability that you can get involved in. We have Students for Sustainability, KTH Climate Students, and Engineers Without Border.
Yeah, thanks, Don. I hope many of our viewers would take part and be part of these organizations.
Sure, and if they want to know more, we are having a seminar later on in May where you will actually meet somebody from a student organization focusing on sustainability, and I'll be giving you some more ideas of how you can get involved when you're here.
All right, thanks a lot. So Donnie, so I'm just curious, could you tell a bit about yourself and your work here at KTH?
Well, of course, and thank you for having me. My name is Donnie Lygonis, and I work as a business development coach at KTH Innovation, which is the innovation support unit at KTH.
All right, thanks. So earlier we talked about some numbers. Why do you think, what is the main reason that Sweden ranks so high when it comes to innovation?
Well, I mean, there are both historical reasons, of course. I mean, we've always had a very, very big drive for education in Sweden. I mean, for many hundreds of years, we've had compulsory school for children 7 years and up. And I mean, today, more than a third of the Swedish population has higher education. So we're a very educated population. And then, of course, with a long tradition of engineering, big organizations, global organizations, solving big problems for many people, like Ericsson with communication, IKEA with furnishing, H&M with clothes, ABB for industrialization. We have the most multinational companies per capita in the world. So we have a long tradition to stand on of engineering and also business in the world.
Yeah, for sure. It's impressive. What is your role, like a day-to-day role at KTH Innovation?
Well, at KTH Innovation, we are 17 full-time staff that only exist to help all of the ideas and people at KTH to reach the world and hopefully create positive impact, because that's a big part of what we do. So half of us are business coaches that meet and help students, researchers, and employees to develop their ideas, and also hopefully then move them into the world to create, as I said, positive impact.
Yeah. So, like, how does that work in practice? Like, so how would a student approach you?
Well, as long as you're affiliated to KTH, you can come to us with any idea, as long as it's got something to do with tech, and meet a business coach. And then we will lead you through the process, which can be between 6 and 60 months, depending on how deep tech it is, how long time it takes to evolve it. I mean, the longest case I've supported was almost 5 years with 2 researchers, from the idea to when they reach the market. And we'll lead you through the way. And we have a very well developed process to support that, which today is considered to be one of the world's finest.
Exciting. Could you mention some startups that have come out of KTH Innovation? I know there's plenty, but
yeah, I mean, I think we've I almost reached 3,000 projects since I started.
Okay.
I know, but
and how long has that been?
Yes, sorry.
How long has that been? The 3,000.
No, I've actually been here since the beginning of KTH Innovation. I came here in 2009, so I'm on my 12th year now. I'm very happy to have been a part of building this incredible place as well. Now, I mean, I can mention a lot of the impact creating ideas and then companies that come out. I mean, one is RenewCell, which is actually revolutionizing the textile industry right now with an idea for not only but upcycling and reusing textile fibers, which is an incredible idea. And they're just starting out now, and that's going to be a big thing. And then of course we have the full span, everything from very deep tech, med tech things. I mean, we have small things as well, which might look small, but they're very big ideas. We have one called Tada Medical, which make a really cool innovation for IV tubes with a clip that can just you can open it and close it again without having to damage the hand if you accidentally pull out the IV tube. Yeah. And then we have lots of social impact as well, like Help to Help, which we're very, very proud of. It's a crowdfunding idea for academic students in developing countries, and the list goes on. And I haven't even started on the normal tech ideas. That's so many. We work with 400 new projects per year, of which I'd say around 10 to 12% come out the other end as successful continuing ideas, projects.
Nice. And I guess our listeners can maybe go to the website and read more about.
Yeah, it's kth.se/innovation. That's where we are.
Cool, because there's a lot to name.
Oh yes, indeed.
Cool. Last question to you, Donnie. What would be your tips for students who want to change the world?
I'd say, first of all, come to KTH. KTH is a magical place on earth where people from all over the world come together and they work on these big ideas that actually have potential of changing and I'd say also saving the world. So first of all, come to KTH. When you are here, take the opportunity to contact KTH Innovation with an idea, or come and join one of the teams that we have, because they're always looking for people. Just be a part of it, engage, and just use the time you're here. It's a magical place, it's a magical time, and you're most welcome to just come join us.
Great, thanks Donnie and Erika. I hope when you're here you get to meet both the KTH Innovation team and the KTH Sustainability Office team. So let's move on. So yeah, prospects after graduation is one of the most asked about questions from admitted students. And in this section, we would like to shed some light into it. KTH was ranked 75th globally in the QS employability rankings from 2020. We see from our career report that about 40% of students had a job before graduating. We also see a significant percent of students starting their own companies. And as you heard from Donnie, the ecosystem in Stockholm and KTH supports that a lot. As an international student, you have the possibility to stay in Sweden for 1 year after graduation to search for jobs or a PhD position. Of course, you can start applying even before you graduate. Now we have a final two guests. One of them has already graduated from KTH, and the other one is about to graduate as well. So yeah, let's welcome both of them. I would start with Nayanika. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Jairam. Nice
Could you tell us a bit about what you have been up to after you graduated from your master's program?
So I came here for my master's in 2017 from India, and once I graduated, I am still at KTH. I am here as a PhD student now.
Great.
And I work with gene technologies.
All right, thanks. And Andrés, so you're soon about to graduate, but can you tell us where you're from and what master's program you are doing at KTH?
Sure thing. My name is Andrés Toledo. I come from Mexico City for that regard. And I'm currently my second year at the KTH Master's Program in Machine Learning.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I have a set of questions for both of you. I'll start with Nayanika. So yeah, I'm just curious, why did you choose to come to KTH and Sweden in the first place for your master's?
Right. So when I decided to study abroad, I was looking at different countries and universities, and what made Sweden very attractive was the emphasis on innovation and also gender equality, which is quite important for me. Also, I was looking for a program which sort of combined the natural sciences in the medical field along with technologies, and I think the KTH program, master's program in medical biotechnology, fit the bill for me.
Okay, sounds good. And during your studies, did you work part-time? How was that?
Yeah, actually I was working with KTH part-time during my studies. So there is no restriction on the number of hours you can work as a student.
Yeah.
But it's good to have a job which allows you to balance
Yeah,
your
yeah.
studies and along with your job. So I was working with the communications department as a social media ambassador on the international social media platforms for KTH. And I
Okay.
think it was a really fun job because it allowed me to connect with so many other students within KTH and also prospective students.
Yeah, great. And I'm just curious, why did you decide to do a PhD after your master's?
Yeah, I mean, when I was about to graduate, I was a bit confused whether to go into the industry or stay in research. I did do a couple of interviews at some companies as well, but I think I wanted some freedom to do my own projects and just explore the innovative side of research, and I think this position allowed me to do that.
Okay. And how was that process, the application for a PhD? How does it work?
Right. So the PhD positions are published 9 times a year on the KTH website, and I think they're pretty detailed, and you have information about the department and the school as well. So you can just go online and search for any suitable position that you are interested in and just apply.
Okay. And could you tell a bit about like the Science for Life lab that you work in, and is it like a part of a research group?
Right. So Science for Life Laboratory is a consortium. It's a joint consortium between KTH, Karolinska Institute, and Stockholm University. And it is just a very big institution where you have different platforms and facilities that you can use for your research. So my lab and office space is located in Science for Life Laboratory.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And what would you say is the best part? I mean, now you have been a master's student and a PhD student. Like, so what's the best part of being a PhD student?
It's like being employed. So you get paid as a normal employee while continuing to do research. But also, I think it's the freedom that you have to work on your own projects and explore more and do what you love. Also, I think by the end of your PhD studies, since it's like a normal employee situation, you can also get a permanent residentship once you're done with your studies.
Yeah, that's great. This past year has been a bit special. Like, so how has it been for you to do your PhD during the pandemic?
I mean, it's been a bit of a balance with working from home and being in the lab. We only come to the lab once we have experiment days, and we coordinate with each other so that it's not crowded. And I mean, it's just been a bit of planning, but it's been good so far, since all of us maintain social distancing while being a bit social at the same time.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Great. So our viewers are watching this just after they received the selection results. Do you remember how it was for you when you found out that you got admitted to KTH a few years ago?
Yeah, I think I was still at home at that point, and I was very excited but nervous at the same time when I was opening my results. And it was a big relief when I got admitted, and KTH was my first choice, so I just called in my parents and we had a bit of a celebration later on.
Yeah, sure, it'll be the same for many of us.
Yes, I'm sure.
And after that transition, so what has been your best memories so far in Stockholm and KTH?
I think one memory that I cherish the most was when I was invited to give a speech for the welcome reception for international students at the City Hall, which is where the Nobel dinner also takes place. So it was a bit of a surreal experience to be standing there. But I think it's also been meeting all these Nobel laureates during Nobel Week, and just getting to interact with your role models is pretty incredible. Staying in Stockholm and being at KTH, I mean, you're so close to nature, it really makes you appreciate it more. And you just get involved in a lot of outdoor activities such as hiking or going for a swim in the summer. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's great to hear from you. Andrés, could you tell a bit about why you chose KTH and the program that you're in right now?
Sure thing. Well, initially I found out about KTH through, so I was searching for a joint program, and in that joint program, one of the year options that you could choose was KTH. So I said, okay, well, there's this university in Stockholm, it's supposed to be big. And then I went to look at the university, and it really caught my eye. I started researching about it, and then I found the machine learning program. So like, okay, this is what I want. So starting from there, I just started reading about it. So okay, I'm going for it. I'm gonna apply. I applied and got selected, and then I guess I got to be more curious about it, because now, okay, well now I'm in, but what about Sweden? And started reading up on Sweden, and I mean, it's one of those countries that say that, at least from my side of the world, you kind of know about it, but you don't really, like, you know the details. And so it was sort of an adventure coming here and saying like, okay, well, this is my life now for the next 2 years at least.
Nice. And how has it been? Like, how has this 2 years? Oh, you're in the second year, right? So how has this 2 years been for you in Stockholm?
I'd say interesting. I mean, I'm not going to talk about last year because it's pretty evident for everyone, right? But it's been, as I said, it's been an adventure. First coming in here, been rather new to an international environment, to a completely new culture. Of course, being here in Stockholm, it's rather easy to just to go by if you have a good grasp of English language, right? But also trying to get into it, because I'd say that I tried to even before coming here to Sweden, started like learning one of those apps, started learning Swedish language, because I thought to myself, well, it's going to be 2 years, so might as well just be able to speak just a little bit, just order coffee or something. But in terms of the school, it's been interesting. We had some changes last year, but I think it's been great so far.
Okay. And now you're able to communicate a bit in Swedish as well?
Jag kan tala lite svenska, bara en lite svenska.
That's really good. I mean, since you're about to finish your studies, like, have you started your thesis? Or how?
So, I mean, my particular case is that I just came from back home. Had been out for some time, so I had to go visit. So my degree project is still, I'm going to just start it yet. I'm going to be working on some ideas. I have to still work in that one.
Yeah.
But that's, I would say that's one of the advantages of KTH, that you have the liberty to go with a company and start at a specific time frame for the company. Yeah. But you can always work out with some of the divisions here and work on your idea and just do your thing and finish it when, I mean, of course, as soon as possible, but finish at your pace and deliver what you think is going to be important for your thesis, for your degree project.
Yeah, I understand. It's the same question I asked Nyanika, like, what were you doing when you received your selection results to KTH?
Well, at that time I was, I was working at the time, so I received a notification results, and the first thing, I gotta call my old folks, tell them I'm gonna be off to Sweden. but it was. I mean, I was nervous, let's say. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I was also feeling great about it. But that's when curiosity hit its peak. Okay, now I gotta find out what's going on with how to move over there. I'm gonna just sort of like leave my job for now. And there are a lot of stuff that goes into your head at that point, I'd say. Yeah. But it was. It feels surreal sometimes.
Yeah, but interesting. Just curious, so during your time here, have you been part of many student activities organized by KTH?
Well, one of the activities that I'm currently part of, I'm an international student ambassador. So I've been working with prospective students, like answering emails, sort of like what Nyanika was doing during her studies here at KTH. I'm also been part of some virtual campus tour. All of that is kind of like my side gig, my part-time job here. So as Nyanika was saying, it is possible to work for KTH also in those kind of projects. It's been very fun. But one of the very first activities that I ended up participating in when I came here, it was a volleyball tournament that was organized by THS, the student union. Yeah. And that's one of the very, very first things that you will end up participating when you come as a new student here in Stockholm.
Yeah, great. I just take the opportunity to introduce all the digital activities that we have planned for our newly admitted students. So as you see on the screen here, we have many digital activities planned. So for students from certain regions, like India, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Korea, and Latin America, we have pre-departure on webinars where we focus specifically on your regions. Then we have a set of webinars that are for all our admitted students. And we start off those activities with the admission chat weekend on the 10th and 11th of April. So where you're invited to a Facebook group, and you also have a lot of chat opportunities with staff and students at KTH. Then you see the series of webinars. So we have webinars focusing on general life at KTH, about accommodation, about being a female student at KTH, about like Erika Dawn said earlier, about sustainability, and also webinars with student union. So I just want to get back to both of you and just curious to hear from both of you, what would be your top tips for our admitted students on how to prepare for their startup study. So Nayanika, I'll start with you.
I would just say that, it's best to come with an open mind and explore all the opportunities that KTH has to offer, not just academic, but also all the other opportunities that people have been talking about before us. And it's going to be an amazing journey.
Yeah, great. Andrés?
Well, I think Nayanika just did it perfectly, but I'll just add up, maybe say that so it's going to be a 2-year adventure, so prepare yourself, enjoy it as much as you can. If you're really curious about Sweden, start reading about it, but if you want to just come in and experience firsthand, then just do it, enjoy it. You're going to be receiving a lot of information in the upcoming days as well, from KTH, but also from THS, from the student union. So just to keep you posted. So read those emails, try to do everything in time and order, so you end up skipping some activities. That happened to me. Don't be me, okay? don't act like me. But for the most part, just enjoy this. It's going to be an incredible experience for you guys. Congratulations. Yeah,
great tips. And I will keep everyone posted, so you can follow all the activities on our website. And thanks a lot to both of you and to the other guests who joined us earlier. We hope that you enjoyed this session, and we'll see you at KTH in August. Stay safe. Bye.